So the Penguin has finally ended, and I've got to be honest, that ending was a kick in the bollocks. Now, because we are going to be talking about the ending of the Penguin, it is quite obvious that it's going to include spoilers. This will include spoilers, so if you haven't watched the finale or you haven't watched the show at all, I would highly recommend doing so before watching this video. Now, it's time to begin, and I don't have a clue where to start. I wasn't jotting down notes when watching this finale or the entire show, to be completely honest with you. But this finale was great. I loved it how at the start, you know, they had Oswald captive, obviously the Penguin. They took him, and he obviously had his mother as well. And we did like the episode previous, I believe, where it was showing like as a kid how he killed his brothers and whatnot, and then how obviously his mother knew that deep down he did it and hated him and that entire time. Then obviously they had them together, and the acting was just, you know, it was so tense, that scene was. It was so great to watch, where she was just like, oh, she was about to chop, so Sophia Falcone was about to chop off the finger of the mother, and Oz being the piece of shit that he was, wasn't going to confess that he killed his brothers, you know, even with threatening that they're going to cut off his mother's finger, like he did to Alberto, Sophia's brother. He was like, no, I'm not giving in, I don't know what you're talking about, I haven't killed my brothers, what the fuck are you talking about? And he really wasn't going to admit it, until his mother finally snapped and said, I know you did it. I've known the entire time. And it was just like, holy shit. And now he was like breaking down. He didn't know what to do. His mum actually did know the truth the entire time, and he also found out that she was meant to try and kill him off at one point until she called it off. But, you know, this person who he loves so much and has looked up to, you know, wanted to support all this time, wanted to make her proud, hated him this entire time, and actually tried to schedule his death. And it was absolutely fantastic. You know, she managed to, they led her out of the chair and she stabbed Oswald, and then he was able to break out and get out of there. And his mother not passed away, but fainted, maybe had a heart attack, I don't know what it may have been, but she collapsed. He took her to the hospital. But that scene right there was a great way to start off this finale, in my opinion. What I also liked in this finale is that Sophia was going to leave it all. You know, she became the head, she was the top dog pretty much, her and Salvatore, but obviously Salvatore passed away. I don't even know what was that, a heart attack, I'm not entirely sure, but regardless, she was top dog, and she was going to give it all away because she isn't about it anymore. She just wanted to kill the Penguin, and that was that, and then just go and live happily ever after, whatever it may have been. But yeah, she wanted to give it all away. She was going to burn down the mansion and then give whatever was rest to whoever brought the Penguin to her. And then it was all a setup. You know, Link ended up ringing Vic and was like, you know, set up a plan to be able to, you know, flip the script really. And Oswald was able to get that last time with Sophia, where we saw that Oswald had maybe just more corruption pretty much. I thought it was quite smart. He didn't kill her. It seemed like he was going to shoot her, and, you know, she didn't beg for mercy or anything like that. She was going to take it like a Don, but instead she got chucked back in Arkham Asylum. The Penguin plotted this, you know, this line with all like, is it like a politician or whatever it may have been, to cover up a certain story, to, you know, get Sophia Falcone sent back into Arkham, the place she hated, the place what molded her into what she hates and what she became, and now she's straight back in there. But we did see at the end that she got a message from her half-sister, Selena, also known as the Catwoman, so that was very interesting, and just left a little teaser going into the Batman Part 2 that I can't wait for, to see how it goes. Maybe we're going to get some scenes between Catwoman and Sophia Falcone. Maybe we'll see Sophia Falcone help out the Batman and Catwoman. That would be quite interesting to see, and I can't wait to see how that plays out in the second movie. But before I change topic, I've got to keep on talking about Sophia Falcone, because she was so good in this show. I think it was episode 4 where they show her journey through like Arkham Asylum and whatnot. It was just one of the best I think that might be the best episode of the show. You know, seeing how she was just some normal rich girl, obviously. What was it, Carmine Falcone was the top guy, her dad, and, you know, the mother apparently she'd been told for years, Sophia had been told for years that her mother had, you know, where she committed suicide and whatnot, but that wasn't the case. Carmine choked her to death and killed her, and when she found that out, she didn't want to believe it, obviously, because it was her dad and all this, that and the other. And as soon as she found out, her dad chucked her straight down the river, because I don't know whether, so I can't remember if some news got leaked about it and whatnot, so he chucked her straight down the river, mother, covered it up saying it was all her, chucked into Arkham Asylum where she went through all this horrible stuff and she became quite psychotic and became the Hangman, as we all know. So I thought that was a great episode, and just I loved what we did with Sophia Falcone, and again I just can't wait to see how they utilise it in the Batman Part 2, if we do choose to use it in the Batman Part 2. But now I think it's time we talk about the big talking point of this finale. And that was Oswald being a massive piece of shit and killing Vic. Oh my god, did anyone really see this coming? I mean, when you kind of put it in that black and white, how Vic's story was going to end, it kind of makes sense, you know, like, what would have been, like, a decent send-off. Of course, it's not a decent send-off for him, but I'm just thinking realistic, like, what would have happened, you know, and if it came to the film, would the Batman have got Vic, and how that would have gone, because let's be honest, at heart, Vic was a nice guy, he was a kind-hearted guy at heart, and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he was trying to steal those rims, and got, you know, involved with it all, and maybe he should have got on that bus, and I believe episode 3, or whatever episode it was, he should have got on that bus with that girl who he liked and fucked off, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and now he's been killed off. I've seen a few people say, oh, well, we didn't actually see him technically die. I don't know. I feel like if he isn't actually killed off, a bit lame. I feel like this needs to happen to really show how evil, you know, Oswald actually is, the Penguin actually is, how he has no empathy, sympathy, feelings for anyone. He only cares about himself and his own ego. He killed off his own brothers. He doesn't really care about his mother. We'll get in more about that. He loves the idea of the fancy of his mother, but I don't know. He's kind of a weird one, but it just shows how much of an awful person Oswald is, and that works so great, because those times in this show where you start to like Oswald and the Penguin and start to like really side with him, but then right at the end we flip that completely, and that's what you want. You don't want to be loving this villain going into the Batman 2, you know, you don't want to be loving this villain, you want to be loving the hero, which is the Batman. And if you've got some sort of if you've got some sort of, like, I don't know, you like the Penguin and, you know, you feel a bit, you don't want the Batman to serve justice to Penguin, and that kind of doesn't work properly, whereas now that everyone hates Oswald again, it makes a lot of sense. And I keep seeing memes on Twitter of everyone saying, oh, I can't wait for Batman to do like an Arkham Asylum combo on the Penguin and whatnot, so that'll be quality, but I cannot wait to see what happens next. And this was such a nice twist. As soon as the music started to play and, you know, Vic had said, oh, you're like family now, I had a little feeling something was going to happen, but I just didn't know what, and when it happened, oh my god. And then the ending scene itself, you know, he goes back to whatever penthouse it may be, he runs it all now, Gotham is pretty much his when it comes to the criminal side of things, just what he wanted. We see him go from the bottom all the way to the top, he's got what he wanted, and we saw it where, obviously, his mum is pretty much a vegetable now, she can't really do anything, and remember from a few episodes previous, she was like, if I turn into a vegetable, get rid of me, because I don't want to live like that. Who would want to live like that? He's like, yeah, I'll get rid of you. And he doesn't. She's just staring out a window, waiting for the Batman come and sort shit out. No, but she's just there now in the window. He hasn't kept up to he won't fulfill his promise and kill her. And then he had that woman, I forgot her name, I'm sorry, but I forgot her name, who, you know, has a fair few scenes throughout the show, who was like, they're the head of all the other women, I don't know, the strippers or whatever they may be, prostitutes, I don't know, whatever they may be, she's the head of him, and she's like dressed up in like what a mum would wear, Ozzy's mum would wear to that dance at, I believe, Monroe's, and their hair's styled similar, and then like they're dancing together, and he's like saying to her, oh, say you're proud of me, say you love me, and all this, that, and the other. So it's more of the fantasy that he wants of his mother being proud of him. He just wants someone to be proud of him, and the fantasy alone just does that for him. And it's quite a weird relationship, I'll be completely honest. It's not like some straightforward mother and son relationship. It's nothing like that at all. It's quite weird and complex, but that's what makes it so special and works so well. And then obviously the ending shot is of the bat signal up in the sky, and that sets up beautifully for the Batman 2. And obviously there was a lot of talk of whether the Batman will make a cameo in the show, and at the end, no, he didn't. The closest we got was the bat signal in the sky at the end, and I'm okay with that. I know there was a few people saying, he needs to be in the show to like legitimize it and stuff. Whereas I'm like, no, the show is proven it didn't need the Batman. It showed that it can stand on its own 2 feet without the Batman, which is really good, because the show's getting a lot of love at the moment. and getting really good ratings, so it showed that it didn't need the Batman in order to boost this show by any means. And I don't know, I wouldn't have minded a Batman cameo. Do I think it would have ruined the show? No, not at all. Would it have added to the show? Possibly, yeah. It would have been quite cool to see Robert Pattinson's Batman in the show. It would have been quite nice to see that, but it wasn't necessary. It didn't need to happen, and it didn't happen, and I'm completely fine with that. And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about, should there be a season 2 of The Penguin? I don't believe there should be. I wouldn't be against it at all, considering what they've done with The Penguin show. It's been absolutely fantastic. So more of it, I wouldn't mind at all. However, I feel like this could just end with 8 episodes, just one season. I don't think it would need anything more. We've established the upcoming, like how Oz has came, you know, to the tippity top. We've seen how he makes that journey to the top of Gotham. I don't see... Maybe we have to see how the Batman 2 plays out, of course, and then go from there. But as of right now, I don't think it's necessary to have a season 2. Again, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't mind it. I think Matt Reeves has said that they're exploring the possibility of it. And Colin Farrell has also said he's down to do a season 2. So, you know, I feel like it would be quite easy to make a season 2, especially with all the love it's got and how good the ratings have been. So, you know, but I just don't think it needs a season 2, but again, I'd love to be proven wrong. But what did you guys think about The Penguin? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.